High resistance, and as I says, I can't change the pipework. He had no heating whatsoever. He's got 8mm Microbore copper pipework.
Now we are in Scotland with Sean Hogan from Emitter Seco. We already introduced Sean in a previous video. You can check in a link below. Sean, we are here in one beautiful house.
Yep.
And you are now in the middle of the process of installing a heat pump. Can you explain a little bit how customer approach, what was your approach to customer, and how you find everything about this house?
Yeah. So Robert approached us probably about 3 or 4 months ago, and his initial problem was on the top floor of his house. He had no heating whatsoever. So we came out, had a look, and he's got 8mm Microbore copper pipework, which is quite common here, and it was completely choked solid. It had been power flushed 2 or 3 times, didn't resolve the issue. I even tried switching off every single radiator on the ground floor when I was here just for a survey, trying to force heat upstairs, but it didn't work. So then we got talking to Robert about heat pumps. Now Robert was initially a bit sceptical because he'd only just in 2022 installed a brand new Bosch gas boiler and cylinder that's behind you there. So I went in, told him all about heat pumps, how they work, and in Scotland we're quite lucky enough that we've got some grants towards it. So he'd had quotes ranging from £4,000 or £5,000 to get upstairs pipework replaced. By the time we gave him a quote for installing the heat pump, getting the grant, it was costing him about £4,000 or £5,000. So it was a no-brainer for him to get a full new heat pump, new radiators, and we're repiping the whole of the ground floor and the first floor. So that's how we came about Robert, and then here we are 3 months later. I've did my heat loss calculations, we've did full surveys, full pre-planning, and we started just here yesterday. What was the main challenge? You mentioned 8mm Microbore pipes. Yeah. So the main challenge is we've got the original gas boiler was in this garage here with the heat pumps here. We've got MLC pipe running through here, but then we've got 22mm copper flow and return going into the house. But the problem we've got here is once it enters into the main property, it goes underneath a concrete floor and splits round high kilowatt radiators that are going round the edge of the room. Thankfully there's a split going to the left that then goes up to the rest of the house. So I can't do nothing with the pipework.
Everything is inside.
Everything's in concrete, can't do nothing.
And what was the heat loss approximately?
The heat loss for this property was around 8.3 kilowatts.
8.3, so it's around 25 litres per minute flow rate.
Yeah. And we're 25 litres a minute.
What is the resistance?
For this to work properly, the resistance was round about 9.5 kPa. Pressure drop. So I had looked at other heat pumps, you know.
It's like around, so in the circuit the most resistance 95.
Yeah.
It's high resistance.
It was high resistance, and as I says, I can't change the pipework, and there's nothing I could do about it. And the radiators that are in the living room just now are K1s, so we're changing them to K2s. So I've got even more flow and power, volumes coming out of them. Then the next challenge was pipework. That was feeding the first floor. That's all in plastic, but over the years people have been messing about with it. We've got plastic, we've got copper, we've got 8mm, we've got 10mm, everything, but luckily there's a crawl space under the floor. It then goes up through the cupboard upstairs. Thankfully that was in 22mm copper, but then once it gets upstairs it then goes into a manifold and it's in the wee skinny 8mm copper, which was completely blocked. So we're having to cut open all the floors, and we're going to renew all the pipework going to every single radiator.
A lot of challenges.
A lot of challenges, yeah, but I think it'll be worth it in the end. And as I say, with the pressure drop as well, this is why we went for the new M series Panasonic T-cap. So that's got a pump head of around 15. Really good.
Meters,
15
150 kilopascal.
Yeah, right. It can push through anything. Anything,
and
right?
the velocities are fine because.
Yeah. And we just commissioned another one of these yesterday, about half an hour's drive from here. And we like the fact that you can set it up for DT. So no matter what it's pushing through, it will set it up for DT, or you can do it on the flow rate.
Play with DT, increase the DT
you can
a little
increase
bit,
the DT
reduce the flow.
Exactly, if you're struggling a wee bit here, so it's a really good system. This is the new M series, really nice. There's black covers that go on here and make it all look nice and pretty. But this was.
So you are going completely direct from this pump without additional components. So
Oh
this,
no, there's
this
no.
pump,
That's just that. I've never fitted a buffer. I don't believe in them. Never fitted one. So we're going straight.
volumizers sometimes or
Yeah,
you
volumizer. There's a 40 litre volumizer
on return.
in here. So all we did was just calculate basically the litres of water in every single radiator, all the pipework, and then the litres that was in this. And then we were short slightly on the volume, so I've added in a 40 litre volumizer, and that worked down at 19 litres per kilowatt.
So you are in the sweet spot.
And the sweet spot, aye. Trying to. But you know, but we're fine for space in here because we're in the garage. So if we did have to fit, say, a 45 litre volumizer or whatever, we could get away with it.
This house is pure radiators, or it has
All radiators in this one. Yeah. This house is about 30 years old. And then the owner, Robert, he refurbished it with his wife about 20 years ago, and they built big extension. They've done big, so they've got a really high beams. So that's one of the other issues I'm facing on this property and another property. We've got a mezzanine, right? So we've got the areas getting heated below, and all the heat's rising. So they're thinking downstairs is cold, but it's actually not. So this job and another job that we're doing, it's not far from you, 100%. We're putting in a destratification fan to try and keep the airflow, keep the airflow down. The other job we're on, where it goes up in a vaulted ceiling, there's a mezzanine. The hot air's coming from all of downstairs, going up and overheating the bedrooms. So it's 100% needed on that. As I said, there's different challenges.
No,
every
no
house,
one size fits all.
no,
never.
No, definitely not. Every house is completely different. Then, for instance, like my house is 8 years old, and that's 22mm plastic flowing returns all the way through the centre of the house, and then it's 10mm plastic drops down to every single radiator, so high pressure drop everywhere. Single K1 radiators from the house builder, cheap and cheerful. So I'm installing a heat pump in my house at the moment just now, and if that's another thing I can go through another day.
You mentioned the radiators. Quite interesting topic is how to balance radiators. And now we have some solution.
Yeah. So I've got two solutions, right? One solution, I'm claiming the fate, mate. I kind of made it up myself because I thought it worked for me. The second solution is from Sun Nightingale, and he's passed me over these. These great radiator valves. Like, so for instance, right, I'll run this heat pump and it will tell me I'm getting 32 litres per minute. Right?
Okay.
But the water is obviously going round the circuit, but it could be going round the circuit in its least possible resistance.
Of course.
Right? So that might be telling me I'm getting 32, but away upstairs in that bedroom, that radiator might be cold, or it's not getting any heat whatsoever.
All heat is going.
All the heat is just going somewhere else. So these are absolutely brilliant from Sun, these new radiator valves. So it's basically just the same as a flow meter on a underfloor heating valve.
So this was classical lock shield.
Classical lock shield in the bottom of the radiator.
Just with,
and then also what we've done is pretty much a dummy's guide, right? So we'll work out the flow rate for each radiator, right? We can do that, but there's literally here delta T of 5, room temperature 20, and if the radiator's outputting around half a kilowatt, the litres per minute is 1.4.
And then
I just set this then to 1.4, right? So I'll go around and I'll set each radiator what I think it is. So that radiator there, it's half a kilowatt. Upstairs, I'll set it to 0.4 on this. And then what I'll do, once it's all fitted, get the heating system up and running. If I'm not getting the required flow rate from that radiator upstairs, then I can start turning the ones downstairs down and try and start manually balancing the system. But at least now I know exactly they're getting the correct flow rate, as well before.
You are just guessing with temperature probes, but trying to find
that's hot, that's fine, that'll do. That's the old-fashioned way of doing it.
Yes.
And
plastic cap.
And then plastic cap, obviously it doesn't look the best. Wee plastic cap goes on it, so that doesn't look any different from a normal lock shield. So I think that's quite nice. So we're now using these. Other way I do it, I don't know if you've done it this way. I'll get the full house up to temperature, it's better in the winter time. And I'll get every single radiator roasting hot. I'll turn the heat curve right up, and then I'll go around with a thermal imaging camera, right? And I'll shine the thermal imaging camera on every single radiator and take a picture. And then I'm basically trying to get the same mean water temperature or the same mean temperature on every single radiator. So if there's like 3 degrees difference from upstairs to downstairs radiators, then I know I can turn these ones down. But for me, it's a fast way of doing it because the thermal imaging camera gives me instant results. I've also got the Testo clamps that everybody's got. You can put it on the flow and return. but that takes ages on an app. And you know, it's like with heat pumps, sometimes you're not getting a DTF5.
Yes, and then you need to go to another room and check another room.
And you're just constantly running about. So this, I think, is great. And
simple solution.
Simple solution, dead easy, fast. And then my wee thermal imaging trick, I love that as well, because I'll just go down and double check everything. And when we use the thermal imaging camera on everything now, so even when we're doing our heat loss surveys, obviously much better in the winter time, we'll thermal imaging in the full camera. So I can literally look at a ceiling and go, you've got insulation missing up there. And the customer will go, oh, we just had an electrician in last week putting new lights in. I says, well, he's removed all your insulation. So we'll get all the insulation fixed, and I'll go, you've got bad drafts coming for this window, this door is really, really bad, it needs adjusted. All these wee small things that reduces
are adding,
that are adding, as well as me saying, right, you might need an extra 100mm layer of insulation. Get a joiner in, tweak these doors, tweak these windows, do all these wee different bits and bobs, add a weather strip to that back door. All of this reduces the heat loss.
Increases the efficiency.
It increases the efficiency and reduces the air changes.
Yes, and increases the comfort at the end.
Yeah, it increases
you
the comfort.
Have the same.
Because the big problem we've got here is everybody's running a gas boiler.
On 80 degrees.
70, 80 degrees. But every customer I'll say, so it'll be a man and his wife, and I'll say, is your feet always cold? And she'll be like, aye. And I'll go, see your heating system, do you have it on a timer? Do you have it on in the morning for a couple of hours, and then you've got it on at 5 o'clock at night for you coming back from work and having your dinner? And she's like, aye. I says, well, obviously you know how a radiator works. It's sucking the hot air, or the cold air, sorry, from the bottom, all the way up through the radiator and moving the air in your room like that. And that's why you're getting drafts at your feet, but we feel hot on the top, but you think there's a draft coming from the hallway or the front door, but there's not. It's the way you're heating your home, you're moving all the air, as with a heat pump, everything's just nice and settled.
Even with the gas boiler, you can reduce the flow temperature. But people used to have really hot radiators. The last question, how you find this? Because people like hot radiators. Body temperature is around 37 degrees. If radiator is 35, it's cold. But still you have 20 something in the room. How you find this challenge with customers?
I think people that are more our age, they kind of get the concept. When we go to older customers, it's like a bit of a struggle for them to understand, or you fit the heat pump and they're like, Sean, this radiator isn't hot. And I'm like, it's fine. What's the temperature of the house? And what the good thing about the heat pumps as well, also reduces the humidity. So people are finding it a lot more comfortable in the home. I had one customer, and I didn't even think it would be a thing. She went, the biggest thing I've noticed is drying my baby's clothes. She says, I would put them on a clothes horse, like a rack, and they would take 1 or 2 days to dry. Now they're drying in like 6 hours because the humidity is so low and the house is just a constant temperature.
This is interesting.
And she says the other big thing as well is walking downstairs in the kitchen or the bathroom on the tiled floor, it's not freezing cold anymore. It's just a nice temperature because the house is just constantly getting trickled that wee small amount of heat.
Yeah, a lot of interesting things.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sean.
No, you're welcome.
Thanks for taking your time here.